The liberal media just won't let up on Casey DeSantis. We've seen hit pieces criticize Florida's first lady over the last few months, hitting her over her wardrobe and her marriage. But this moment on MSNBC may be one of the ugliest attacks thus far. Watch.
Casey DeSantis is a fairly compelling political figure in Florida and now nationally. For many, she's the brighter side to Florida's angry governor. For others, she's become America's Karen. And I think that's the ultimate disconnect here, with a campaign that needs to embrace more constituencies to get to the White House.
America's Karen, David Jolly.
Well, I called her this, Serena Waterford wannabe needs to cut it out. We see you. So there's all kinds of names for her. She needs to stop trying to measure the great drapes in the White House and think that she's some kind of Jackie O reincarnate. I mean, Casey DeSantis, keep an eye on her, though. She's a wily figure.
Kennedy, to say that this is shocking and unacceptable is an understatement, especially with the use of the word Karen, which is a pejorative that has racist and prejudiced underpinnings, stereotypes, and for them to mock a woman who's been an incredible figure in government as well as sociopolitically in this country, who's done so much, including beat breast cancer, that was an ugly mockery. It has no place, certainly, on mainstream media, but apparently because she is conservative, then all bets are off and everyone can just get into the arena and have a go at it, gladiator style.
Support all women. This stuff rings really hollow. It smacks of jealousy. They're incredibly envious of her position and, what she has accomplished and what she continues to accomplish as a mother. And, she takes that part of her life incredibly seriously. She has a close relationship with her husband, which is an enviable thing for anyone in a marriage. And, what she's saying, like, oh, watch out for this one, she's wily. It's like, what does that even mean? That makes no, that's an attack. That makes no sense. So they're desperately trying to grasp at anything they can to bring her down because for them, her husband poses a big political threat. And they're essentially having to invent things to attack her for.
And Kaylee, it also sort of smacks to me of that continued elitism from the left, where if you dare to shop at Walmart, if you dare to enjoy dinner with your husband every night, if you dare to represent America's values in a way that is simple and puts faith and family first, that you are less than, and that it is then approved by the left in social media and clearly on mainstream media for you to be attacked, mocked, ridiculed. You will never be good enough for them.
Yeah, and the two people you watch, let's be clear, these were people who at one time identified as Republicans or still do identify as Republicans. And this is that voice that MSNBC uses to represent the other side. No, neither of those two sound like Republicans or profess conservatism in any type of way. What's surprising to me is exactly what you said, Kennedy. This is because they view Ron DeSantis as a threat. His wife is extremely effective as a surrogate, beat breast cancer, a mom, smart as a whip. Because they go on to say in their comments, so as I like to say, it doesn't matter if it's presented in heels or boots, the DeSantis doctrine's a losing one. They're inventing culture wars to terrify voters. And a losing agenda, to call it that, really? Did they go to sleep during the midterm elections? Did they not see DeSantis win Miami-Dade, Broward County, Palm Beach County? Did they not see that? Plus 13 for Hispanic voters, plus 15 for women, plus 17 for suburban. So did they miss Palm Beach and Miami County? I don't know. Maybe they were sleeping.
And that's exactly the point, Ari, that she represents something so much bigger than herself, which is why these attacks are so deeply personal to millions of Americans who feel that same way. And it flies in the face of all of us who have the same president when his wife is protected by such fawning from the media. Dr. Jill Biden, make sure you address her appropriately. They would never even come close to the amount of ugly, insulting, rooted in absolutely nothing type of attacks that they would for someone that, I guess, has a D before her name.
Yeah, in my history or experience, the only first lady I can remember who ever got attacked was Hillary Clinton in the campaign when she attacked moms who stay at home and bake for their children, and then she inserted herself into policy with health care. She made herself a subject of attack. Other than that, first ladies have always been treated properly and deferentially. And when you start to lose this, we're losing another piece of Americana, where things that we thought were out of bounds, where criticism should be lobbied at the people who are running, not their families, not their spouses, certainly, but here you can do it to Ron DeSantis' wife. Why? Because she's smart, accomplished, sharp, supports her husband's politics. That's what this is about. And the left just thinks they can do these things. And I'm for the deference. I am for these old traditions. They make the country better and stronger. And then when the Democrats do it, they need to be called out.
Melania was hideously ripped to shreds as well. What are your thoughts?
Well, to their credit, the DeSantises are holding together and they're not taking the bait on this. They're staying very focused. And of course, Democrats don't want to point out anything on the right side in terms of where the polling is or anything, because they don't want to have to give any oomph to either DeSantis or Trump. They don't want to talk about the top of the ticket unless they can tear them down. And so now they're going after the wives. But this is not their first rodeo. I mean, he's one of the most popular governors in U.S. history with his second-term win of 20%. So my question, in many of the counties, my question would be, is the left prepared for somebody else being called a Karen? I hate that word. It isn't just, it's a racial slur. It's awful. It's awful. And it lumps everybody together, and it's just terrible. You could make a case for a woman who sits next to a man in the White House who talks about people of color in terms of how we vote, and how if we don't vote for him, we're not really black, who calls grown men, Muslim and other people of color, boys, those in his administration, grown men. I mean, there have been moments when you really could question, oh, Republicans are going to put you back in chains. I mean, he's just dripping with points of bigotry. If she's sitting next to him, what is her name? Now, that could be a political pushback. I haven't seen Republicans go there, but it's hanging like low fruit for them.
That's right. Well, the only thing lower than those insults to Casey DeSantis are the ratings for that show. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Compagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.